Next time around.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. Jim, can I trouble you just to hold this for a while until Isaiah comes? Okay, so we can start recording the meeting. Yeah. What? Could I trouble you just help us to just record the meeting? Just hold the camera to people.
Do what? I'm not.
I don't know about it. Neither do I. We'll see. Okay. I think somehow just if you push it, you automatically figure it out. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Somehow we'll figure it out. Or I guess for the time being, just hold the camera. That might be easier. Yeah. And hey, let me just reverse it so that people know the direction. Here you go. And just hold the camera on just while we are meeting. Just looking at it. You could look at it. You could look at it.
Look at
This is
it?
what's going to be recorded. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, we're going to start the meeting in a moment.
Should I pan on you?
Okay, we're a little bit late here. That's 7:32, 33. We're going to start the meeting. We have a guest today, Sammy Ravelo from the Dominican-American Republican Club in the Bronx. We're going to please everyone stand. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So, we have the honor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sammy. And now we're going to have a reading of the information statement by James Colwine.
Thank you, Daniel.
Okay.
The mission of this club shall be to advance the principles and purposes of the Republican Party, to elect Republican candidates to public office, to strengthen the civic welfare of the community, and to engage in a vigorous exchange of ideas supporting Republican values.
Okay, and roll call.
Okay. Roll call. Daniel Mayo.
Here.
Here. Okay. David Abraham. Kathy Lally. Khalil Levy. David Kemp. Isaiah Vega. Carol Crone. Sophia Worrell. James Schwartzman. Mark Rowan. Arkadiusz Tomaszewski.
Yes. Welcome back from your vacation.
Oh, boy, that was close. Phil McManus. Juan Pagan. Gile Chow. Gerard Lally. Emily Tseng. Stephen Weiner. Jim Strawhorn, that's me, I'm here. Martha Rowan, again not here. Philip Grillo. Stan Norwalk. Ruben Cruz. Joel Solomon. Catherine Donnelly. Craig Tyson.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And now we have the reading of the minutes by our special guest.
Minutes of the regular meeting of Central Queens Republican Club held on May 21st, 2026 at Grace Lutheran Church, located at 103 Union Turnpike, Forest Hills, Queens, New York. The meeting was called to order at 7:30 p.m. Susan Cleve, forgive me if I mispronounce the last name, led the Pledge of Allegiance. Jim Strawhorn read the mission statement. Martha Rowan did the roll call. Isaiah Vega read the minutes of April 16, 2026 meeting. Anton Trapman motioned to adopt the minutes, second by Richard MacArthur. The minutes was adopted with one name vote. Treasurer Sophia Worrell reported a bank balance of $3,976 with 36 cents, and with about 48 paying members. Board members in attendance were Martha Rowling, Ruben Cruz, Craig Tyson, Sophia Worrell, Isaiah Vega, Daniel Mayo, Jim Strawhorn, and Phil Grillo. Absent were Joel Solomon, Gerard Lally, Kathy Lally, James Schwartzman, David Abraham, Arkir Samowitsky, I think I got that right, Tazil Levy, David Kemp, Stan Norwalk, Juan Pagan, Emily Zen, Stephen Weiner, Carol Crone, Catherine Donnelly, Zelee Kao, and Phil McManus. 25 members and 19 non-members were in attendance. You want to go? Okay, so announced were by Elijah Diaz and Jim Wagner, very good friends of mine. They talked about the petitioning effort placed on the November 10 ballot. Very important, folks. One, recall elected officials. Two, create an office of municipal worker fairness. Three, redistricting based on legal resident population. Four, establish an office of constitutional rights. Five, create an office of emergency power oversight. Six, reform the CFP threshold based on party enrollment. Require public debates on all CFB candidates. 8, end dual office candidacy. 9, create a campaign posting board for election district. And 10, remove party labels from municipal ballots. Jimmy and Elijah are aiming to submit 50,000 signatures by mid-August. Steve Galen, political director of Project Civica, gave an update on the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. It passed the Congress but stalled in the Republican Senate. Steve warned that should Democrats take over the Senate, Senator Schumer has said he will get rid of the filibuster and make D.C. and Puerto Rico states, giving Democrats 4 more votes in the Senate. Turning to local races, Steve complained that Republicans did not put up candidates in 66 seats in New York City. Sorry for the pause, that really gets me upset. 53 in 2024, 48 in 2022. If filled, those candidates could have been forced to campaign for Blakeman. They would have been forced to campaign for Blakeman for governor. His solution is a precinct committee strategy to build up the party.
Take it off.
Candidates Charlotte Freeman, State Senate 47, covering Greenwich Village, 100th Street and Upper Side. A second. Okay. Okay, I was confused. All right, very good. A Bronx neighbor. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massey lost his Republican primary in May to Ed Gallery, a relative unknown. I guess he's talking about his own race. President Trump's endorsement is the main reason to vote for a candidate that you're not that you're not a free-thinking citizen. He warned that money from pro-Clinton races include his independent party line. Phil Grillo has a Republican primary on June 23rd, stating that he is a right-to-life candidate. He is where he were to receive part of the Trump 1.8 billion in anti-apronization fund. He would donate all to personhood and the Bridge to Life parties. Illegal immigration has to stop. Phil says he warms his heart when a drug boat is destroyed. Ed Macedonia was to share his experience of the FBI allowing drugs, but was shouted down by David Renner. Thomas Barron, running for Queens Civil Court judge, has been a trial judge for 30 years. George and Jim asked about why some Democrat judges have also appeared on the Republican line. Harris Bates asked about federal and state disparity on marijuana laws. David Renner, candidate for Congress in the 5th District, does not want to focus on negative, including his opponent Gregory Meeks. Jonathan Rinaldi opened with, "I am a proud Democrat, and I'm here because I am the only candidate who can bridge the gap between Democrats and Republicans." Democrats in his district have primaries for judge, Congress, Senate, and the Assembly, while the Republican cult does not have any. Isaiah asked, is Jonathan funded by Soros? No answer. Robert Ruben Cruz, candidate for state assembly in the 38th district, talked about beef theft. As an example, he helped about 6 families who have liens placed on their properties. A.M. Goodrich asked about how Ruben connects with those who speak English. He replied that his website has translation into 10 languages. Martha Roman introduced Promethean Action PAC, which has great videos uplifting flyers about President Trump. She felt offended by Jose Vega's insinuation that supporters of Trump are members of a cult. Harry Bati, candidate for City Council, 3 in Manhattan, rallied against Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Taisha Parrott won the 50-50 raffle. Phil McManus motioned to adjourn the meeting, and it was seconded by Richard MacArthur. The meeting was ended at 9:38.
Thank you very much, Sammy.
I hope I was clear enough.
No, it was great.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. Are there any corrections on to the minutes? Isaiah?
I'm pretty sure Jonathan is not funded by Soros. I think he did answer that, but I'm not.
Okay. Thank you. If there's no other comments or questions, all those in favor of adopting minutes is aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The minutes have been adopted. Next, we have the financial report. Sophie is not in yet. I guess, Eric, would you like to read the financial report on her behalf? Sorry. Yeah. Yes.
Reinstated. What do we have? We still have $3,932.11. So $3,932.11. Thank you.
Thank you very much and welcome back. How was your vacation?
Right.
Okay. Next item there, we're going to begin with our special guest of the night. We have school announcement section. The first guest tonight is Sammy Ravelo, okay, who is also the campaign manager for another primary that's happening in Bronx for Ravelo. Okay. So he'll be talking about himself, what he's doing, as well as the campaign, and anything else he likes.
Thank you. For those that don't know me, my name is Sammy Ravelo. I am the president and one of the founders of the Dominican-American Republican Club. We are a statewide club operating mostly now out of the Manhattan and the Bronx because that's where that's where the most of the Dominicans are located in our great state. Over 400,000 Dominicans living between the Bronx and Manhattan, and we're trying to reach out to them. Why Dominican-American Republican Club? Well, it started in 2024 as just before the Donald Trump elections of 2024, before he got elected. For all the reasons that I can go over them one by one, men and women's sports, the gender ideology, the open borders, you go on and on and on. Things that us as Latinos, as Dominicans, we don't like. Yet we're forced by one party to put up with things that we don't like. Gender ideology. They're teaching our kids things that it goes against our culture and our norms. Even in the United States, that was never done yet. You have one party pushing things that are dangerous to our kids. And in New York right now, if you don't know, if you're a parent, teachers have more rights than you as a parent. Right now, a teacher can find treatment for your kid or your grandkid if you're older, and they actually don't have to let the parents know. And that is the number one. I mean, you ask any parent, it doesn't have to be Dominican, you ask any parent.
They're getting rid of mother and father.
If this is something that they like, and I haven't found one yet, yet this is something that in this state is being forced upon. It's being done by one party. and it's the Democratic Party. So I decided, to take that, the bull by the horns, and we actually held a rally in Washington Heights, which is a historic Dominican place, right after a congressman named Adriano Espaillat had told Donald Trump, and everybody knows, that Washington Heights is not welcome to him. Yeah, we decided to have a Trump rally, and then we decided to form the club. And the reason being is that we actually had the biggest upsurge in voters for Donald Trump in the entire state, and it came from that area. Meaning a lot of people that look and talk like me actually voted Republican, yet they were still registered Democrats. So there's a problem there. We have to, we have to organize, and we have to now, like I said, take the bull by the horns. And so that's why we started the club. The response has been amazing. The community really, especially when they found out about what we're doing. By the way, the club is not just open to Dominicans. I personally wanted the name Dominican is because it is the largest immigrant population in New York State right now, and they are 90%. Right when we become citizens, we automatically enroll into the Democratic Party because there wasn't an opposition voice. So the reason why we started, because we wanted to start with our community first. But we're open to anybody that wants to join us. I'm very excited about the future of what we're doing. We actually are running our first candidate for the assembly. Her name is Sherry Olivo, and I don't know if Danny wants me to get into the story, but she has a primary right now. Something she wasn't looking for, something she didn't ask. But that's the reason, and she apologizes, by the way, and I apologize on her behalf. She's actually right now knocking on doors, trying to get Republicans to go and vote for her. She has a primary against a paper candidate put in by the establishment. I'll leave it at that. But the beautiful thing about what Sherry is doing and what we're doing as a club is that she's knocking on doors and she's actually going to Republican voters. And you know how important that is? In the poorest district, which is the district that we're running, the first Republican female Dominican, they actually cry when she knocks on their door and say, "Oh my God, I've never had a Republican. I've never had a Republican knock on my door." And that's the response that you're getting. Yesterday was our monthly meeting, and I would say half of the people that were there were people that actually already voted for her now in the primary. So yes, we're very excited. It's a primary, obviously, that and by the way, I'm not against primaries. What I'm against is primary against ghosts. So that's exactly what's happening with us. I guess Sherry had an issue with the Bronx GOP. They decided to do what they wanted to do, and but the good response is that a lot of people are seeing through this, and a lot of people are showing our support. And again, I thank Daniel for inviting me. We appreciate it, and there's a lot of work that we have to do here in New York, but I think we started in the right direction. It starts right here with folks like you, just letting people know we are tired. We are tired, more than tired, of the crazy policies that the Democrats want to give us. We're going to end up into a California. And where people are going to have to run. I mean, people are running from the state as to begin with. We need to slow that down. And it starts in little rooms like this. So I really appreciate the opportunity. I promise that I'll have Sherry here next time. She'll light up the room with anybody that meets her. And we are very confident that even though it is 8-1 registration gap in that district, Republican, that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
It is the bluest district in New York, but yeah, we're going to take it on. We are going to take it on. You know why? Because the Democrats, and I was a part of it, they've been doing it for 40 years. It's not late to start, but we start now. and we don't relent. So that's my pledge to you guys. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Any questions for me? Go ahead.
You kind of answered my question already, but like I just want to like see like what your future holds. Like you said, like you're open to obviously all of Latam, all the Latin American community. Have you ever considered like rebranding, considering like being able to capture like a majority Colombian community like Jackson Heights or like the Elmhurst area would be huge, considering how democratic that is. All democratic also.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's put it this way. My goal is to show what we can do now with the club. But what I want to do is I want to transfer it statewide.
Yeah.
I believe, that if the party statewide really starts targeting communities, and I don't want to get into black, I hate those terms. I'm talking communities that are traditionally not targeted by us. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Traditionally not targeted. I hate the labels. I don't want none of that nonsense. It is, we need to defend our culture, our norms, and our traditions. And only one party is going to let us do that. So that's my goal. Anyways,
Okay.
Transfer everything that we're doing. Maybe the party can do it statewide. I think we can grow faster. Go ahead.
Some of the things that you said that made you switch were like cultural issues. Are there any other issues that would make you leave the Democrats? Like, would the Democrats provide financial upward mobility, anything like that?
Well, how do I answer that? Okay, so two things. I'm former lieutenant, retired lieutenant, NYPD, law and order, I'm big on law and order. The bland policies of the Democratic Party, started with bail reform, raising the age. Perfect reasons for why I actually, wanted to leave that party. They don't, it's not the party that 30 years ago you would go in and it's working man's party and they actually believe that a man is a man, a woman is a woman. They've gone off the rails. It's not normal. They want to defy science. And when a party now wants to tell you to defy reality, that's a sign that's telling you gotta go. When a man is telling you that he's a woman, and you have to actually look at a man and talk to him like he's a woman. He has mental issues. But I have to pretend that he's something that he's not. So I'd rather leave that type of environment, leave the party, and I'm better off for
it. Could you give the contact information for Sherry of Olivo? What's her name? Olivo?
Sherry Olivo?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll write her email once we. Yeah. Okay. No problem.
This is less of a question and more of a word of encouragement. I'm glad to see that the Dominican community is getting involved in the Republican Party. I am extremely happy to see that they have targeted one of the more Republican-leaning, or at least Republican-friendly districts in the Bronx. I believe 86 was one of the highest Republican, shifts in 2024. And I commend Sherry. I endorsed her on Facebook. I hope she wins with 99% of the vote. The one vote being this other paper candidate. And I just wish you the best. And may God bless all of you in your endeavors to build the party, and especially build the party within West End.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Any other questions?
So you got a question?
I want your information you sent out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Looking around the future, not only of the Dominican-American Republicans, but of the Republicans statewide.
No.
By the way, Sammy walked all the way from New York to Albany.
We expect you at the next state convention.
Yes.
Now, I had
2-3 years ago.
honestly, I had someone that attended the Knicks game this morning. He got up at 3 o'clock and went in line, and
Already?
I just wanted him to share his experiences because he was able to get in.
Oh, yeah.
All right, listen, we have, as Americans, as New Yorkers, we have had
one of the greatest. I mean, let's be honest. The last month or so has been amazing as New Yorkers. Not just like the Knicks playoff run, but on top of that, we have the World Cup as Americans. Has been fantastic. I mean, just look at like it. The playoff run alone is historical, and it really reinvigorated the city of New York and everyone that lives here. Not just New York, like the city, but like the tri-state area and even the entire state. Like I guarantee you, people felt it as far up as Plattsburgh, Watertown, and Buffalo. They just resonated with it and just it really because like the Knicks were the only basketball team in town for the state of New York. But not only that, you have the World Cup that started last week, and just being on social media, seeing all like the supporters of foreign nations come to town, and they're like they say like back home like in England and Dominican Republic, well Dominican's not playing, but Haiti is playing in Haiti's playing here, Japan is playing here. So many foreign nations are coming to town, and they are having the time of their life. And meanwhile, they are being told back home, and you even see it here also, the media is just telling them like, oh, America's horrible, America's horrible. The World Cup is reinvigorating them is reinvigorating America and the city because it just is like America is great. Like like it's fun. Like it's exhilarating and like it's people come like for example, I have a great example. The Japanese came here and they go to a Mexican restaurant and they just put chips and dips down. It's like the Japanese go and like, what did we do to deserve this? Like I want you to think about that for a second. Like we just take that for granted. Like when you go to an Italian restaurant and there's bread on the table, like that's guaranteed for us. The chips and dips at a Mexican restaurant, it's guaranteed for us. For them, it's like, why are you putting this here? Like we didn't do anything. Like we didn't ask for it, but thank you. Like it's seeing like them be appreciative of the culture and like seeing that and knowing that like Americans in general, like overall, aren't appreciative of it. It's like, but like I don't know, like it's and on top of that, like today, it was absolutely amazing. Like once you were inside the pens at the Knicks parade, like it was just vibes. Everyone was chanting, and like on top of that, you got to remember like that downtown area of Broadway is very narrow. When you have 1 million people plus down there, and you just hear people just chanting Knicks in 5, let's go Knicks, go New York, go. It resonates, like it reverberates, and it just hits you. And it was an amazing experience today. Like waking up, like I planned everything out yesterday. I made sure like my external batteries were charged. I had my outfit ready for it today. Like I was ready for it today, and I had like the most fun. I was down in downtown Manhattan at 4:30. I woke up at 2:45. I got I was on the bus at 3:30, and I had the most fun. Like, I was just vibing with everyone. Like paper was like the shredded paper was being thrown everywhere. And let me tell you, when the parade started, I got hit with emotion. I was like, oh damn, like I didn't expect to like start tearing up, but I did. And then when Jalen Brunson, like the whole team passed by, I was like just ready to like fall down on the ground, like just breaking down, crying. Like I don't know why, but like it just got so much emotion on me out of just pride, like happiness for the city, for the team, for the New Yorkers. And on top of that, like just seeing like the entire city lit up in blue and orange. Like those are our colors. Like it's on the flag, and like just seeing that, it's just like you just get so much pride and like it's like I can't put it into words like the way like that the last week has been, the last month has been, just between everything going on, like athletically and like socially with the sports and everything in the city. And it's just been like, I've been grateful, I've had fun, like I've had a smile on my face since like the Knicks swept the Sixers. Like that's how like much of a good like month it's been. Thank you very much. You know.
Anyone else want to share their Knicks stories? Let's see, before we get let's see, John Feldman asked a question there. Since you were passing out the petitions,
Actually,
can
hold
you
on,
explain to them what the petition is about? Oh, you want
one more,
one?
yes, one more set of words. Microphone, thank you. Okay. I actually saw like someone said something. It is kind of like borderline like morbid, but it's like not morbid, but like what the Knicks winning was for New York City was the reverse of 9/11. 9/11 united us, but like it united us with trauma, and it just was like a deep wound and a deep scar on many of us. This united us, and like you cannot have a smile. Like it's just like pride. Like as I said, it's just pride. Like it's something to unite us for like the better good and like the greater good, and hopefully, you know, we can hopefully benefit from all this. You know, knock on wood. You know, God forbid something else happens. Anyway, that's my point.
Ronald Eith is sharing his experience this morning, and Aura Moody is going to explain the petition that she was passing around.
Jimmy Wagner is an attorney from Brooklyn. He is launching a campaign to be put on the ballot so we can recall elected officials who don't do the job, require that if they get taxpayer money, debate, and some other provisions. In order to be on the ballot, we need to collect 50,000 signatures from New York City workers from the 5 boroughs. It's just to put it on the ballot, and the people will decide whether or not they want those proposals to be enacted into law, to change the city chapter which is equal to the New York State Constitution. Thank you. Interested, writing a petition, signing. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, now we have 2 new people that came today. We have Jose and Jacob. Would you like to say something? Okay. All right, now, well, something the board decided in our announcement sections. As you know, our meeting's pretty open to anyone who wants to come. So if somebody also want to talk about any subjects that's on their mind, you're welcome to voice them here during the announcement section. So I guess I'd like to, before we get to the candidates coming in tonight, does anyone like to say something on any topic on their mind? Ed, you want to say something yet?
Oh, no.
Not today?
On the barbecue.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Yeah. Barbecue, go ahead. Aisha.
Hi, I'm a part of a sister organization to this club as well, the Queens Village Club, and we put on a barbecue every year. And this year it's going to be in August. I'm going to leave this up front so you can all take a look at it. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully you all can attend this August. I think we're going to move it around this year because we usually have it a little bit earlier. So we're going to have it in August this year. So again, it's going to be at the front table, and hopefully you'll all be able to participate. Come and join us.
Thank you so much.
What'd you say, Mother?
Queens Village.
Lara.
Okay.
Queens Village
Barbecue.
Republican Club. I think
On August 2nd. I don't know why, but the Queens County GOP, they're also having a barbecue on the same day, August 2nd. Yeah, in Masbeth, instead of Queens Village. Okay, let's get to the candidates that are here tonight. Let's see, before we go to some of the candidates, are there any candidates who have time restraint whereby they need to leave early? Those who need to leave early, I always give them priority to speak first. Okay, so none of that priority. So anyone want to volunteer first? Okay. Anyone? Well, actually, I like to have Julie Milner speak there. She has a Democrat primary. Okay, she's very supportive of our club. Okay, and if you know her, I don't know why she's not registered Republican. But anyway, I know why. Very much appreciate her coming. So, please.
Thank you so much, Danny. I appreciate you having me coming and speak and be so welcoming. And yes, I'm still a Democrat. I am fighting the good fight. I am fighting from within the party because before I'm a Democrat, I'm a patriot. And I'm mad as hell at what's going on in our country. And I wanted to do something that I could do from my end as an attorney, as an educator, as a mother. What could I do? So every year I was going to vote and I'd see on the ballot, vote for any two of the following for judge. But there'd only be two to pick from. Vote any three. There's only three. And I said, wait, that's not democracy. Why am I being told I get to pick judges, but they've already been chosen for me? And then as an attorney, I started seeing problematic people on there, because I'm a civil rights attorney. And I saw people that were representing the other side getting elevated. And I'm like, who's making these decisions? These aren't for the people. These are like white shoe, well-connected political hacks that are being rewarded because they're giving money to the party and the affiliates of the party, the bar associations. And then I started seeing, all right, people running against the machine candidates, all of a sudden they're rated unqualified by the bar association. And I said, that's too much of a coincidence. Like the machine candidates that are affiliated with the Democratic Party, very well connected, they're always given a pass, approval, approval, approval. And there were people that were very problematic that I knew personally, that got approval. Somebody that had just come out of rehab, I'm not gonna mention names, but do your due diligence, you might can find it, even though it's been scrubbed. But I saw like really problematic people getting approval and really good people that got unapproved. So ever since I started running for judge 2 years ago, I don't submit anything to the bar associations. And then you'll see the newspapers just really run with that. Milner's not approved. No, Milner didn't submit. Nobody evaluated me. I want the voters to evaluate me. 2 years ago, there was a judge by the name of Wendy Lee who ran for Queen's Surrogate. And she had just been approved by the Bar Association when she ran for judge. And then because she ran against the party's permission, they rated her unapproved and put it all over the newspapers. So she's not approved, don't vote for her. Meanwhile, they put someone on the bench who had never set foot in surrogate's court, had never done a wills and trust and estates case that I knew of. And I'm like, how did this happen? So the Democrat is one big club that we ain't in. Even if you're still a Democrat, if you're not in, you're not in. They won't let you in. And I'm pro-police. Thank you for your service, sir. They attacked me for that. They call me right-wing, MAGA, Republican conspiracy theorist. I've done pro bono work for the National Latino Officers Organization, Anthony Miranda, Charlie Castro, those guys. And of course they attacked me for that. And I'm like, all right, I know Sheriff Miranda was just fired, but he wasn't fired when I was running before Luis Molina. They're very high up, but you're attacking me, and I'm a fellow Democrat. So if they're doing it to me, they'll do even worse to any Republican that looks like they have a chance to win. And I'm very disappointed that the Republicans that are running for judge don't have the party support. I don't see hordes of people knocking on the door the way Mamdani did for the Democratic judges that ran against me last year. I just don't see it. So please get out there and help your candidates. Really, you gotta help the candidates, because Democrats aren't gonna help you. But you need the moderate Dems like me, who are gonna vote, who are gonna put the reasonable vote in. You gotta go out and talk to them on the street and tell them about these candidates. Because when you go to court, you've got far left judges deciding your fate. We don't have Republican judges anymore. There's maybe 2 or 3 in civil court, and they stay under the radar. It's not safe for them to come out and say, I'm Republican. We definitely don't have moderates, because they're not going to put moderates up to run. Me, John Chavone, we're the 2 brave people in Queens that keep running every year. And people are mocking us, oh, perennial candidates. They can't win. But we're trying, because we're trying to put a spotlight on how dirty these judicial races are, how we need everybody to get involved, how we need good lawyers, not Democrat, not Republican, not conservative, not independent. We need good lawyers to be put on the bench. We need nonpartisan judicial elections. Take the party out of it. Any lawyer that wants to run, put your hat into the ring. So this year we did a little experiment. John Chavone and I got on the ballot, or tried to get on the ballot with Brandon Castro on his Arts and Culture Party. We couldn't get enough signatures because you need 4,000, and we tried, it's just too hard. Like right after getting the Democratic signatures and then go back out and do it again. But we wanted to show people our true belief that it should be independent. You should not know that your judge is Democrat, Republican, whatever, because we need to rule on the law and not on party politics. That's very important. Primaries are a mess. Republicans rarely have primaries, and Democrats are like really vicious with one another. They knock off the Republicans from the ballot. They don't let the Republicans get the matching funds. And I worked as a lawyer last year to get a conservative person his matching funds. So I did that. They denied him. They had flagged him for fraud, and I worked really hard to make sure he got what he needed to get. And I'm surprised they didn't bring that up in this race to attack me for it. And I guess they didn't do their due diligence to see I did that. But please help your good judicial candidates. Please help especially the GOP and the conservative candidates that are running this year. I didn't make it for the independents, so I won't be on the general unless by some miracle I win the primary, but that's almost impossible going against the machine. But thank you very much for your time. I just wanted to make you guys aware. Thank you.
Thank you for Julie Milner, running for Judge Queens. Alice? She has a question with her. Julie will have a question.
Do you feel that the signature requirements for independents should be the same as the Democrat or Republican? It's like 3 times the amount to run as an independent than a Democrat or Republican. If you need 1,000 for state senate, you need 3,000 for as independent. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think the signature requirements should be the same?
I would love to get rid of signature requirements, because signature requirements are only used to keep people off the ballot. Because they want their people to be on the ballot, they're going to go and get the signatures for them, both machines, the Democrat and the Republican. They want to control who's on the ballot. They're not letting us, we the people, control who's on the ballot. And we go to get signatures, people don't want us in the house. Nobody wants to hear phone calls. I send a lot of emails, but even people don't want to get emails either. So it's really hard for us running. It's impossible for independent to run. And I know, because I just tried to do it and I couldn't do it. I couldn't even get the 4,000. So yes, the requirement's only to keep you off. That is not democracy. We need to get some people who will go into the state, into the Senate and the Assembly, change the laws. Change the laws so that the people are putting the people that they want on the ballot.
Any other questions? Lisa?
I don't really have a question, I do have a comment. And my comment is that one of the reasons why we are circulating the petition for community sign, thank you for that. One of the ballot measures is to do away with the party system at some point. So, I mean, you may have primaries where there's still your party listed next to your name, but when it comes to the general, there should be no parties. People should research the candidates that they're actually voting for. And having the removal of parties means that you're not just going down the line and just say, okay, they're a Republican or they're a Democrat, that's it, that's for me. And we'll just vote in all of these crappy people that we all have to live with for, well, at minimum, because usually incumbency leads to another incumbency. So and probably if that were in place, it would help someone like you, because now they have to know you and figure out who you are and say, you know what, I think this person should have a shot at this position, at least for this term.
That's a really good comment. And there's too much money, too much power at stake. The powers that be will never have an open primary. They certainly won't do away with the primary because they're divesting themselves from power and money. There's a lot of power and money where elections are involved. So we, the people, have to meet in places like this, and we have to be the ones to stand up against it. Because if all of us are together, then we outnumber them. But we have to be on the right page and we have to be strong.
So to piggyback what Taisha said, also what John was asking about the petition, that's one of the measures we're trying to put forth on the ballot this November, and that is no name on the general election ballot as far as party name.
I disagree with that point. I do not like the idea of not having the party next to your name on the official ballot. We believe that Democrats and Republicans would do their work, check out the candidates, and put the best candidates on, and most people will not do the research. I would say maybe 1% of the people would do the research. So I think the voters would be much happier with the affiliation of the party of the person running. It's my opinion.
Continue with that. As I work the polls, there's some people who, I'll speak up. And when I work the polls, there are some people who will not vote for anybody because they don't know who they are. They'll come and they'll vote for a particular race. So say it will be the presidential or the mayor, and everybody else will just leave because they just don't know who they are. So yes, some people won't because they are reliant on that party system. But many will just opt not to vote in a, like I said, for a particular race because they have no idea who they are. So.
Just a follow-up to the question that I asked you. What do you think would be the requirement or qualification, like
registration, pay the fee, and let anybody who wants to run in the primary, and then you weed it out there to go to the.
in Tennessee, you know, the signature requirements from the city council, Congress, or any office? It's the same, 25 signatures.
25?
25, that's it. If the signature threshold is so low in Tennessee, anyone can do 25. Why can't we lower our threshold in New York?
Wow. I'd be happy with 1,000. Because up in New York, you know, 1,000's nothing. But 25, that's good. But I wanted to say another way to fight back is to go to the BOE, and you can ask Isaiah to teach you, he's a master of this. Go to the BOE after signatures are collected and start knocking people off the ballot. Start knocking machine people off the ballot. I helped a candidate who knocked off a longtime district leader leader because all of the signatures were fake. We found dead people in it, and then the BOE didn't want to do anything, and she had to pay money for a lawyer to go in. To talk to a lawyer, an election lawyer is $14,000 just to go in and talk to them. Nobody's got that kind of money. So that's why they do it year after year after year, fake, 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 or not enough signatures, and nobody's going to look at it. We need eyes on those signatures. That's where you're going to get the machine people out, and then the Republicans can come back and have that seat open. I mean, not for district leader, that's something different, but find a moderate Dem that you know. Find one of your neighbors that you know that's a moderate Dem and run them against these long-term district leaders that are perpetuating the harms in the system. And the easiest way to knock them off the ballot, the signatures, this guy will give you training. He's the master of it. He's really, really good. He knows what to do.
Where are you from and how long have you been in New York?
You heard the accent, right? Because he said Tennessee and I almost outed myself. I'm from South Carolina. I've been up here 30 years. Can't lose the accent. But that's how I grew up. I grew up with traditional values, Christian values, strong patriots. All the males in my family went to combat ever since the Revolutionary War. So that's something, my father, World War II, brother, Vietnam. We didn't have law enforcement, but of course we respect our law enforcement. I respect them up here even more. My running mate, John Chiffon, who's also running in this primary, just became the first judicial candidate to get the DEA endorsement. Oh, wow. So I am very proud of him. Yes.
I actually have a question. So, like I was looking at the election. It says you can choose 3. There's 4 candidates. If you had to endorse outside of you and John, you have Edward and Edmund. Which one of them would you choose?
Judicial candidates are not allowed to give endorsements, but I can say I'm running with John Chiffon. Out of the 4 of us, John Chiffon by far is the most experienced, and I put myself in there. He is in court every single day. He is doing the work. He is helping indigent clients. I sent indigent clients to him that needed a lawyer, didn't have the money, and there was no free help for them. And he took care of it. And he doesn't go on and make himself look good. He doesn't brag about himself. He's a very humble person, and he's working harder for me than he's working for himself. He's calling his people saying, vote for Julie because she's a fighter. And I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna make us a joint card. So I hand out his cards everywhere I hand out my card. I do have one card by myself because I got some endorsements on there. And I'm the only candidate endorsed by Councilman Phil Wong, who I hope you guys clap for him, yes. And I was endorsed by his predecessor, Robert Holden, last year. So that's the kind of Democrat I am. I'm with them. The other 2, no comment.
Okay, thank you very much, Irene. And we wish you successful party. Next speaker is Phil Nichols. He's running in the 32nd Assembly District. I think that's Aura's district. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Nichols, and I am running in the Assembly District for the 32nd Assembly District in Southeast Queens. I'm actually a registered Democrat like Julie, so I've got the toxic in my system. But my story goes back to, I'm going to get into a little bit of my qualifications for the office, and then I'm going to address some of the things that I heard throughout the evening. First, my story began when I was 19 years old, and so even though I'm a registered Democrat, that was strategic because my journey first started when I worked in government in the New York State Senate. And I worked for an upstate Republican, Senator John Bonisick, in which he actually shaped a lot of my political understanding, a lot of my understanding of government and how government works. And so I was always from Queens. I grew up a lifelong resident in South Side Queens, Jamaica area. And so one of the reasons that I registered as a Democrat, actually having found myself adopting closer towards Republican policies, is because the system is just as we talked about. You end up disenfranchising yourself if you register as anything else but a Democrat, because the registration in Southside Queens is so heavily Democratic that you really don't get a say in your elections. And so for me, it was just almost like a catch-22. You're darned if you do, darned if you don't. But for me, I've decided to continue to run because one of the things that I heard my brother say, and again, I'm going to go over my background in a little bit more detail. One of the things I heard my brother say in terms of why he disagreed with not having any parties on the slate is because you would almost want to trust the process that they're going to allow for the best Democrat or allow for the best Republican. But as Ms. Julie was talking about, that's not how the process goes. I initially started this assembly journey trying to go on the Democratic line. I'm probably hands down the most qualified candidate in that race. I'm a lawyer, I'm a pastor, I've been working in government for over 20-something years, and so I've got way more experience, but I'm not one of the puppets that they would like. I'm not one of the folks that will do what the party's bidding is. I literally work entirely for the folks that are the ones that cast the ballots. And so for me, not being that person that is going to be that party person, you don't trust that the party is going to put the best person on the slate. So that's the only problem with that. And so what we heard often is you have folks that are just coming down and then they're just checking off Democrat. But we're doing something different where I started out as a corporate attorney when I graduated law school. And I worked in a big corporate firm, and they paid me more money than I'd ever seen in my entire life. But as I was sitting in my office, which was in Times Square, something about representing big Fortune 500 companies like eBay's, Tiffany's, it didn't really resonate with who I was, because the folks that usually end up getting the best representation, even if they lose a case, it's just the cost of doing business for them. And so for me, I wanted to use my talents to be able to go and work and have my skills and all the experience that I was learning work to serve folks that if they lose a case, it's an unfair conviction or somebody's losing their home. And so for me, I was able to make that transition. I worked in the Supreme Court, Queens County, with the late Honorable Howard Judge Lane, may he rest in peace, and then worked in the federal courts with Honorable Judge Deborah Batts. When you transitioned to work as one of the chief counsels for Senator Malcolm Smith, at this time was the Senate President for a number of years. I'm one of a few people that can actually say they've worked in all three conferences in the state Senate, where I worked for a Democrat, I worked for a Republican, and for the brief years that some of you folks may remember, the Independent Democratic Conference, whatever that was, I worked for them as well. And so for me, I've seen a lot of the system. I understand the system and understand where we really need to make a lot of changes. We brought up a lot of the election law changes. And so one of the suggestions that I was going to make, if you didn't bring it up along with the Tennessee, is the lowering of the signature requirement. Because when we had COVID, if you noticed during COVID, they lowered the signature requirements by executive action, where it was just about a little over 100 signatures that you needed, and none of those city council members are less legitimate than anyone else. But you lower the bar, and then there's a lot of the you didn't dot this I, didn't cross the T that they try to use in the election law to try to get folks off. So there's a lot of structural changes that we can do with that I'm committed to pushing for, and I will fight till tooth and nail to get open primaries, because we need to make sure that if you are in a district, whether it's heavily Republican or heavily Democrat, that you should be able to register with the party that you identify with. Again, I'm a pastor, and so a lot of the things that the Democrats talk about, I don't agree with, just because my faith says we don't go with none of that stuff. We all know what it is, so I don't have to go with it. But one of the things that we're going to be doing and challenging the Democrats, because we were able to successfully go and get onto the independent line, and so the party is going to be called the Answer Party. And so it's not about any one individual person. It's about understanding that we as the community, we are the answer. And so I'm going to challenge all of the Democrats in District 32. And whoever wants to come out and help, you're more than welcome to come out and help. Again, it's Nichols 2026.com. But we're going to challenge the Democrats in that area to say, has this party served you? Have you been getting what you deserve? Where we go and we check off and we check off and we check off. And I'm glad you made that switch, because that's the exact energy that we want to bring. Because we want to have them work for our votes, any party it is. They should be able to say, we hear your concerns, we know what the issues are, and we're speaking to you, and we're not taking any vote for granted. So this coming November, again, we're going to be on the ballot, and we're excited to bring a new wave of energy, because there is something that's going on around the country where folks are understanding that this two-party system really is not working. And there's something that needs to shift, because I've come to find since I was 19 years old, again, I cut most of my hair so most of my grades don't show, but they're still coming through anyway. But I've learned that Republicans have great ideas, Democrats have great ideas, the Green Party has great ideas, conservatives have great ideas, the Libertarian Party has great ideas. No one party has all of the answers. And so if we bring it all together, and if we understand that we have the solutions together, and when I first was in the Senate, you'd have Republicans and Democrats. They worked together. It wasn't these ideological fault lines that they didn't care about anything else but scoring the points for their party. And that's where this thing has gone totally off the rails, because they would disagree, but they would understand, wait a minute, this is what's best for the people. This is what's best for the state. And they would do that ugly word called compromise. We haven't seen government shutdowns every other year like this ever. And this is a whole system where the only people that get hurt are we, the people, who we've gotten forgotten. So again, my name is Paul Nichols. Like I said, I've been an attorney, I've been a chief of staff, I've worked in Congress, I've worked in the courts, I've worked in the not-for-profit sector as a national director for a criminal justice program where I traveled across the country. One little quick 15-second story is for the program that I work for, we're pushing something called the Justice Reinvestment Initiative. And they said, Paul, don't go to Alaska because it's a deep red state. This is a progressive initiative that you're pushing here, so don't even waste your time. But we went to Alaska. We were able to communicate that this is not about parties, this is about people, and we're able to get the president of the Alaska State Senate to sign on to this measure, because when you understand that it's about people first and parties last, then we actually can get things done. Whatever you need, Julie, I want to be a part of that fight, and I'm grateful for you stepping up, because we can't be afraid to go against the system. We can't be afraid as we're coming against the 250th anniversary of this country. You had some brave soldiers that said they're not giving us representation that we'd like, so they started throwing tea bags in the Boston Harbor. So we need to start throwing some tea bags, or in the court system, we need to start throwing whatever we need to let folks know that there's a whole new wind of change that's coming, and we're not going to accept the status quo again. My name is Paul Nichols. Thank you all for your time. If you want me to answer questions, I'll be glad to take any questions.
Okay, questions. Harris?
I know you're running for assembly, and this is a federal question. So,
Sure.
okay. So what are your thoughts on marijuana? Under federal law, marijuana is illegal, but state law they've commercialized it. So do you support legalizing marijuana? Would you join the lawsuit to oppose the state law?
So I'm a pastor, and so my first position is we shouldn't have any legal drugs. So that's just me. What I've seen, and it's a balance, because you have to, the reason that the excuse that they used for legalizing it is over-policing in certain communities. And I've seen that with my own eyes. You've seen some communities where they'll turn the other way, and then other communities where they'll use it to try to prosecute them and get them in the system. So you tackle the real issue and not something that's just a symptom. So I'm not a fan of any of that. So if you want to look right in the camera, sex work, that does not need to be, to me, does need to be legal. Again, I'm a pastor, and one of the things that if we speak to the Democrats the way we should, because I've got a lot of registered Democrats in my church, that they're waking up because their pastor's running for office, but you have a lot of folks in these churches that are just registered Democrats and voting, realizing, wait a minute, the principles that this party stands for, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing out there, and I'll gladly come out and help on that side as well, but they don't realize that they're voting against their own principles, their own self-interest. They're voting against the things that they don't stand for. And a lot of folks don't realize that, because my brother was right. You have less than 1% probably doing their research. And so it's difficult to try to put that in their hands. But one of the things that's a hallmark of this campaign that I'm doing is to bring a whole new wave of civic participation, of encouraging people to understand the process, know the process, to be able to understand how to be able to learn what government does and how government should work for you. Because we ultimately are the bosses, and we should be the bosses. Was there another question?
Any other questions besides Harris? If you give it Harris. Harris?
This is a state question. Would you, the NACP, National Association of Colored People, they came out against tobacco. And my question to you is, would you support banning tobacco?
In what context?
Making the sale and distribution of cigarettes, vaping, illegal.
What I would do is you discourage things like that. And so what they've done before, which I would encourage, is you just tax it to where folks, we don't want to stop certain people from doing whatever they're going to do, but because they're going to do it anyway. We've seen stuff with the prohibition going back to the 1920s. There's certain things that folks are just going to find a way to do whatever they want to do. And so, but we can discourage it because it's behavior that we don't want to see again. I don't encourage uses of it. So we just tax it, and then the folks that want to do it, they're going to have to pay for it.
Okay, any other questions? Paul Nichols, Democrat, also running on the answer on the November ballot. Thank you very much. I'd like to call up Denise Smith, if I may, there. She's been trying to come to speak it out for 3 months in a row, but having a problem with the transportation every time she came. So Denise, would you please come? She's running for state assembly in the 80th district in Bronx. And after that, I guess I would like to have Irene Guanill to speak as well. She's running the state assembly 82nd. So, both of you, if you like, both of you come up sometime. That's not a problem. Either way is fine.
Thank you so much. I'll give you my number. I have to change numbers with you. Hello, my name is Denise Smith. I won't be before you long. Representing the Bronx. I'm running for state assembly, District 80. Let me see, I'm a little nervous. It's okay, I'm the new kid on the block, so be patient with me. All eyes are on me, so let me take my time. I have 3 issues that I'm concerned about. The first issue is education. The education is disgusting for the past 6 decades. I did some research, I studied economics. I have two master's degrees, and I have a bachelor's degree. I just received an honorary doctoral degree, so I wanted to say that. Right. Thank you. I ran North Central Bronx Hospital with the vice chair for 20 years. I raised did six-figure fundraisers with Jacoby Hospital. Okay, so I wanted a little bit about myself. Right now, I am a leader, and I'm the founder of an international ministry with great men and women from around the world. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I've lived in the Bronx for over 30 years. I have a great pet peeve issue, quote unquote, about education, because it's our fault. What's going on in education is deplorable, it's disgusting. We allowed it to happen, but nobody wants to hear that. What about the times with economics, with domestic, they used to teach like domestic classes. I remember in junior high school, I met my sweetheart who I married at 13, when I was 13, making cookies. And we used to make cookies, we used to make pizza. Anybody remember that? Am I the only one?
Home ec, yeah.
We had home economics. They used to have you iron. They took that out of the school. Okay, adults need to teach their children that, granted. But notice the difference. Let's just look at the difference. What happened to instruments in the school? Well, I grew up in Long Island, but I also went to school in Queens. You could take the violin home with you, sign it out. There's no more violins. What are we doing to our children with their music, and their artistic abilities that God gave them? We're suffocating them, and then we don't give them anything to do. So, that being said, the Board of Education needs to be revamped. It's a disgrace. It's disgusting. And I'm a believer, right? But you believe what you want to believe. But I don't think a man should be in the first grade talking about he dropping it like it's hot. Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. And I don't agree with that in school. If you want to be a homosexual or whatever you want to do, I don't think you should be parading in front of the first graders dropping it like it's hot. How is that teaching them education? If a child grows up and that's what they want to do, listen, everybody, you do what you want to do. I'm just telling you my faith, okay? I don't agree with that we impose that on children. I'm not going into school imposing anything on them. Let's just teach them the education and let them decide if we get back. And how come they can have free surgeries? I've been working since I'm 15 years old. I have to pay co-pay for stuff, and they get free surgeries. Come on, we got to make some of this stuff make sense. Okay, so I'm opposing those things, right? Nursing homes, I have a problem with the nursing homes. I went over it last week at the 49th precinct, I think it was, I spoke, so I'm not gonna go into it too much. That's okay, love. That's okay. I have a pet peeve about that because I found out in Queens, Crotona, I did research, they took $150 million off the top. They never saw it. Monroe, yeah, holding the name. I'm doing interviews from people in New York City all the way to Florida. 9 people allow me to interview them about nursing homes. I'm not saying all nursing homes are bad, but the ones that are, they need to be exposed. CNAs are overworked. They need a raise. If they didn't take that $150 million, hell, we could have gave them a raise. Don't you agree? We could have given the supervisors, the nurses, and the maintenance a raise. We could restructure the place and give it a new face so the people won't feel so mentally depressed, because how can you come out of that state if this is what you're looking at? But they're too busy with greed taking the money off the top. They don't even pave the streets anymore. No comment. I mean, we used to get the streets paved every 4 years. We don't even get that. You're lucky if they do one block. Because they're too busy taking the money off the top, and it has to stop. And it's not fair. And I think we need to get to a place that you know who you're really voting for. Not by their words, not because they sound good. Research them and see if are they really walking in what they say they are, doing what they do. Because I've done a lot in the community in the past 20 years. Education and sanitation is disgusting. I don't understand it. A simple thing like one little garbage pail on each corner would make a major difference. So I am Denise Smith. I'm running for State Assembly, District 11. I am the change. I want to be the change. Let's be the change. Thank you for your time.
Any questions for Denise Smith? Okay, I guess we can start here.
Are you running against an incumbent, or is the seat going to be open?
The seat is open, as far as I believe. Yes.
Who's leaving the seat?
I'm not sure. I'm hoping to get in the seat. There's somebody already in the seat. Perez, I think of his last name. Yes.
Sammy?
Hello, Denise.
Hi.
No. Well, you have the pleasure of running in my state assembly. I live in Haiti.
Okay.
All right, so obviously there's a lot of pressing issues in Haiti, as you know, if you're running in that district.
Okay.
Number one, I want to know, is the party supporting you? Because I didn't, I see the name's familiar, but I didn't know it was actually my district. Is the party supporting you? The Bronx does not have a good record as far as I see. Are they supporting you? And what are your thoughts on naming Little Yemen a historical district? What are your thoughts on that? And by the way, the assemblyman is John Sakaro. He is running for re-election.
Yes, Johnson. Okay, thank you. I don't have anything to say about that topic with that person. I'll stay out of it. I don't know enough to say anything about it. So I'll just be quiet. As for me, I am running as a conservative party, and I hope to get in the seat. I'm learning as we go. I ran for city council 2024, so I'm running now for state assembly.
You're not on the Republican line?
I'm going to say this honestly.
Are you in the Republican line?
No, I was supposed to be, but they didn't put the paperwork in time. And that was done intentionally. So, next question.
No surprise.
Next question. It was done intentionally. But I called Albany because I was really upset about that, because last night we penalized for a whole team of people because they didn't like certain people on the team. That wasn't nice. And I found out I could do it myself. So I will no longer be allowing anybody to put my paperwork in because I learned the lesson. They played dirty. Any other questions?
Very quickly, on that point, what happened in Bronx was kind of sad there. It was talked about briefly at the last meeting by Steve Gill, and they did not put up any candidates Republican-wise for state senate. Very few assembly, and even for state assembly, for those who, like Denise, they did not file a certificate of acceptance for it. They didn't get it all.
60 seats.
Yeah, so
they gave me the paper that I was approved, and then 30 days later they gave me a paper that I wasn't approved. Which one is it? And all because somebody put the paperwork in intentionally after the deadline.
9 out of the 11 assembly seats
and that's
are vacant
unfair,
right
because
now.
I do work, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. No, but this is very important. 9 out of the 11 seats in the Bronx, in the Republican line, they're vacant right now. So what happens with that? Because people look, okay, so they're vacant. What happens is that you have people not running, and it makes it harder on Bruce Blakeman to win the governorship because he's got no surrogates. He's got 0 surrogates. So when you have an inept county committee like we have in the Bronx, this is what we get. And the problem that we have, we keep quiet. They want to shut people down. They want to, they want to shut certain clubs down because they don't conform. But the people that actually get hurt when they do things like this are the people, are the citizens of New York. Okay? Because what happens is that we get the crazy laws that now we're living with, bail reform and raise the age and laws that actually hurt us. This is little by little, we're paying the highest property taxes in probably the entire United States. It is because the Republican Party is sleeping at the wheel. We gotta take our state back. This is serious. This is serious. It's a 3-to-1 going on 4-to-1 voting registration margin. And I tell you right now, not the Black community, not the Latino community, we are not as liberal as they are. They're assuming that we want all the crazy laws that they want to pass, and it's time that we start talking back and taking our state back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay, that's fine.
It's the same question that I asked before. It's regarding tobacco. The master settlement agreement, 25 years have passed since that time where the taxes are coming, so now we could get the taxes and ban it. So my question to you is, Mexico banned tobacco a few years ago, and the United Kingdom this year banned tobacco for people from 2009 born afterwards. So would you support or oppose banning tobacco?
I support banning tobacco. And I used to smoke a pack a day, so I understand what it is. In my 20s, I used to report me. We had a lot of singing and dancing. But anyway, that's over. But no, I'm totally against it. And yeah, because it's giving people cancer so we can get pharma, the biggest drug dealer in the United States, the money. Shut up, Denise. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Denise. Next we have Irene Guanill, also running across in the 82nd Assembly District.
Good evening. I'm Irene Guanill, and I'm running for New York State Assembly in the 82nd District. Currently, the incumbent is Michael Benedetto, and he is in a primary with 2 others right now. I have been in the community for about 25 years. That is Country Club, Bronx Neck, City Island, Westchester Square, Pelham Bay, Bronx Neck. We have a big area, and I've been on the community board from 2014 to 2022. I am the Pelham Bay Merchants President since 2012. I am a New York State real estate broker instructor, and my 3 issues for what we need to address is housing first. So the big issue is how many of you are renters and how many of you are homeowners? Homeowners? Renters. In 2001, the federal government allowed subprime lending, predatory lending. That means that you can go to the bank, get a loan, not show any identification, not show any paperwork, have a blood type, and get a loan. And those people foreclosed from 2008 to 2015. So when they ask you why is it that housing is unavailable and housing is unaffordable, the only thing you can say is because people foreclosed and they're pissed off. If I lost my house due to predatory lending, would you want to buy another house? Probably not. But now you can't even buy a house. So should a house in New York cost $600,000, $700,000, $800,000? No. If you compare it to states that did not use subprime lending, for example, Texas, weigh in on Connecticut. So Stanford used subprime lending, but after that, Bridgeport to Hartford, they did not. So you went into Connecticut in 2020, and you tried to buy a house, it would cost you $60,000, and that equivalent house in New York would cost you $500,000, $600,000. If you go to Texas, same thing. So you can get 2 for 1. So when you look at where it was used and where it wasn't used, you should be able to assess that the problem is legislation. Now you bring that forward and say, I have to pay the mortgage. My mortgage is based on $600,000. It's about a $5,000 mortgage. I have to pass it on to my tenants, right? They also introduced at the same time vouchers and the legislation called source of income. Are you aware of source of income? Yes. Source of income means that you cannot tell somebody, regardless of what work they do, be it sex work, drug work, other work, voucher work, that they cannot get an apartment with you if you use a realtor. If you do not use a realtor and you live in the home, the rules change. But if you are using a realtor and you do not live in the house, then the rules apply to you. So subprime lending is the reason why housing is not affordable or available today. So now that I brought you up to date, how do we fix it? Any suggestions? Okay, here's an example. We have, for example, in Pelham Bay, 22 buildings that have recently been built since 2016 to this year. 22 buildings. Guess, how many apartments out of 22 buildings were built? Go ahead.
0.
22 buildings. They ought to have some apartments. So 22 buildings, 1,400 apartments. 1,400. How many apartments are under rent stabilized stabilized and vacant. 80,000 minimum. That doesn't include NYCHA. So now we have NYCHA, about 100 grand of vacant apartments because they have to be renovated. You have about 80,000 throughout anyone who's using subprime lending. I'm sorry, not stabilized. So we have stabilized units from 6 family and up, buildings, small owners, big owners, correct? Why not apply the same laws that allow grants, low financing rates, tax incentives for all of the rent-stabilized vacant units, as they would for a building? Instead of having to build a new construction, you apply the same incentives to the vacant rent-stabilized units. Make sense? Too much common sense for the Democrats to make that decision. But when we say Democrats versus Republicans, we can't get elected without Democrats. So the message has to be, if we want affordable and we want available, and we all require housing, then we have to share the message. There's a way to do it. And so that is my number one suggestion. The second issue I have is the utilities, water, taxes, insurance. But guess what? When your housing bills go down, it should reflect in all the other utilities. And the third thing that I have a problem with is safety. But again, if people feel safe and afford their homes, and they have jobs, and they can afford their utilities, then they will automatically not try to steal from others. Your Amazon packages will be at your door because they have jobs. They feel safe in their homes. They don't feel at risk in an apartment. And here's the big kicker. I don't know if any of you have been in those rent-stabilized units that they're building, that they've had before, versus the new builds today. Railroad apartments, 50 closets, spacious dining rooms and kitchens, and the rent-stabilized units that are vacant and need rehab. But let's take this corner here is a new build, and some of them are triangular. Your living room is on an angle. How do I put the couch? How do I feel happy there? Of course, then I need to legalize pot. I gotta go home to that with no money, and I have to wait the government to give me food because I don't have enough money to buy food. I have to go wait online for my politician to say I can have food that he obviously bought with my tax dollars, right? So if we don't think we have a problem, and if we don't think that we need to come together, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, and independents as human beings, then we all have a problem. Because it isn't about party. It is about being available to fight the fight, however long it takes, and however far you have to travel. And so I thank you for your time. And if you have any questions for me, I'm more than willing to answer.
Thanks, Irene Guanill. Any questions for Irene Guanill, the running for State Assembly in the 82nd? Stan?
Yeah, we're talking about the crisis in the housing market, right? We're talking about the crisis in the housing market. But one thing that wasn't mentioned is there was a crisis before President Biden became president. And then when he opened up the borders, that exasperated the crisis in leaps and bounds, which caused the price of housing to go up dramatically, and the supply was limited. That's how the city of Yes became popular, to create housing for everyone.
And you don't think that was done on purpose?
Yeah, of course.
That's why I didn't mention it.
What's your solution is my question.
I believe that people come here legally and earn it and then find jobs and create businesses as they have in the past. We don't need people just coming in and taking all our services, because say this man here was working and making $70,000. And this man here is from Dominican Republic. We're going to give him everything. He doesn't have to worry about housing, food, employment, where he's going to get anything. But this man here, I spoke to him yesterday in real life, and he said to me, I work hard. I have a job.
I do.
I have to live on my mother's couch. I had to give up my apartment because I couldn't afford it.
True.
Where's the discrepancy? The discrepancy is in the vouchers. So when they said source of income needed to be legislated and everyone needs to have access to housing regardless of where they get their money, source of income was the issue. The vouchers are $1,500 more than what working people can afford traditionally with today's market. So we say, yes, get the voucher, go stay in the homeless shelter, and I don't know if you know about this, all the storage units that were built from 2016 to now, the homeless people are storing their things there. And we pay for that. So there's multi-levels of suppression of the working person. But the working person is always the one to keep the door open for someone who needs help. My mother was known as mom to the neighborhood, and I'm the youngest of 8. We'd sit down at the table, there'd be a knock at the door. She said, don't touch your plates. Whoever was coming in was going to eat. And that's what is human. And so the government is saying, somehow we stopped being human? When did that happen? I still know anyone will help someone. I still see people giving dollars to people. So it's up to us.
Irene, earlier this evening, one of our club members has a tenant holdover issue. He would like to share the story with you and see, since you're very familiar with real estate law and what's happening. What is your advice? Go ahead, I'll let you tell you the story.
Hi, thank you. My name is John Felton. I'm a resident in Forest Hills here. A good friend of mine has a 2-family dwelling in Maspeth, Queens. He's owed approximately $40,000 in back rent. He's taking them to court. They're refusing to work. They're getting legal representation. He's not.
For free.
For free. He's not. And this is going to go on and on and on. So my question basically is that why isn't the landlord protected?
Because we haven't fought for ourselves long enough. So there's a website and an Instagram for Facebook for HL Dynasty. And I would say go on Facebook and go on Instagram and join that page. You can see me, I can help you get to it. I went to the rent guidelines meetings last week. We are fighting, they are hearing us, but there's not enough of us. Remember, it's a numbers game. There's a few landlords and a lot of tenants, and the government, yet again, has pitted landlords against tenants. But that's not really the case, because tenants need landlords and landlords need tenants, and that will always be. But the government wants to be the landlord, and they're discouraging the tenants from cooperating with landlords because they want our properties, COPA, right? You've heard of COPA? This becomes very personal to me because I grew up in a house and my mother and father separated, and then I wound up in an apartment. And from the time I was 10 years old, I said to myself, I'm buying myself a house. And then when I graduated, I said, I will do it by the time I was 30. And so I bought my first house by the time I was 30. And then investment property after. So anyone who comes from my property is going to have a hard fight. And I hope all of you that are homeowners see that, and all of you that are tenants understand the investment of that.
But again, the new law that's put out by local or whoever.
So the answer is get rid of HOCO. The answer is change the representatives. The answer is vote for me because I know real estate laws, and right now there's only 2 people who say they know real estate laws, but they don't.
3 families and above now have to offer it to the city of New York first, and if you don't do that, it's a $60,000 fine.
That hasn't passed. We won't be doing that.
You mentioned the predatory loan in 2007, 2008.
2001 to 2008.
So my question is that do you blame the people who gave the loans or do you blame the people who took the loans?
I blame the legislators because I, as a real estate broker from 2000, since the 90s, late 90s, I had been buying properties, rehabbing them, and selling them. So I started out as a flipper, then I got licensed. I got licensed in 2004. In 2007, I got my real estate broker's license. I say that to tell you this. Everyone that came to me and said they wanted to buy a house and they didn't have the money and they didn't have the education or the process understanding and they didn't have a job, I told them I cannot do it. You are not my client. But if you want help, I can put you in a program. There's NHS, there's WRO, there's NACA. There's plenty of first-time buyer education programs. But you should never have had to use a subprime loan. And so if I knew it, and I was at the time more of a novice, I consider myself one of the experts now, but in 2004, 5, 6, I knew it was wrong. Morally, I knew it was wrong. And there was a lot of money made, but I'd rather sleep well on my pillow.
What about tobacco? You still banning tobacco?
I would say tax it as much as you can, and people are gonna do what they're gonna do. But yeah, that's okay with taxing. I don't agree with any illegal drugs or legal drugs to be available. I don't believe in the dispensaries. I think we've gone too far.
How you doing? When you think about local law 97, affordability, we want to make everything electric, then get rid of electric stoves, electric boil, they want to put electric boilers. It's going to do that conversion is very costly, and it's going to, the co-ops, condos, homeowners, everybody's going to get the effect. I mean, what do you think of that?
So it's a big problem. I don't believe that we shouldn't look at how we can conserve energy. I think going green has its place. I, on my Connecticut property, have solar panels, and that works wonderful on a single-family house that I rent. My property here in the Bronx, it's a regular boiler and a hot water tank. And then at my daughter's house, we have the on-demand. When you start doing this for big buildings, 50, 60, 45,000, like Co-op City or LaFrac City, you're gonna have a problem. But you have a lot of businesses in those areas. And I say, test the businesses. We don't sleep in the businesses, we don't eat in the businesses, we don't spend time with our families in the businesses. So if we're going to convert an area and we want it to work, we should test on the businesses first and give them the incentives to convert. And if it works for the businesses, then we can migrate. In Yonkers, they did a moratorium on gas and it failed. And they developed new construction, single, 2-family houses, and came in after the gas lines were already installed and the house was already sold. But before closing, they ripped out the gas. And then 6 months later, we got to go back to gas. So they don't have it all figured out to tell us to convert. If you have an electric car, great. If you have an electric stove, great. That should be your choice. I don't think we should mandate how people live.
Any other questions?
I think we should have the option. Some people like electric stoves. Some people like electric stoves. Some people like gas stoves.
choice.
Give us an option, don't put us in one, or this, you have to do this, that's it.
100%.
I don't believe in that, but this is what this government is about. Their
So
way
you
or
will be
the
voting
highway.
for me.
I don't live in the Bronx, I'm sorry.
Call your friends.
Bronco, quick question. Have they, in your co-op, have they told you how much it will cost to convert yet? Have they given an assessment bill yet? What your unit?
I heard like maybe, I heard some number 6 million maybe, I don't know.
Are you in Frac City?
No, I live in Queens.
It's your co-op.
So in the co-ops, it's gonna cost you 3 to 1. Whatever you're paying 1 times 3.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking at the cost being.
It's a lot of people are going to be, will want to be homeless, they won't be able to pay their rent.
That's the point.
And we're continuing the cycle of getting you out of homeownership. Right.
People want to live in New York State, live in New York City, gonna go to another state.
How about we get rid of the legislators? There's less of them than there are landlords and tenants.
That's true.
That's great. I can't make out your last name on that
Guanill.
sheet. How do you spell it?
G as in girl, U-A-N-I-L-L, and I did say I was the youngest of 8, so everyone with this name is related. I apologize now.
And you're a Republican or?
I am a Republican, I am under the conservative, and I am on vote affordability with Blake. I did run around and get the 3,645 signatures. Required was 1,500.
And you have a website?
I do. It is friendsofirene.com, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And they told me to make palm cards, but I don't believe in waste, so I made bookmarks. I trademarked it, so if you want to do it, you gotta pay me.
Thank you very much, Irene. Our next speaker is Melvin Rivera, running for 7th Congressional District. He's already on the Republican and also on the conservative line. He submitted a petition under no case as well.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Central Queens Republican Club, for having me here today. My name is Melvin Rivera, and I want to talk about why I'm running. But first, let me tell you who I am. I'm an activist. I'm not a politician. That's number one.
Okay.
Yeah. Born and raised in Bushwick in the 80s, during the crack era, during the AIDS pandemic. All right? I know what it is to stand on a line for a brick of cheese, to spend cupones at the Chinese restaurant for an order of French fries and chicken wings. Right? I know what it is to wipe somebody's ass for $15 an hour, working with developmentally disabled adults while CEOs are getting paid $500,000 a year, right, top heavy. I know what it is to serve. I've served in my community for over 3 decades as an activist, as a community organizer, and now people are throwing these words around. Everybody and their mother's a community organizer. You're not a community organizer. You applied for a job, you interviewed at a nonprofit, and you were hired. You were an employee, okay? A community organizer works on the ground, works with the people, right? My campaign is a true grassroots campaign. I'm going up against Antonio Reynoso, right? The machine. He came to this game with a $300,000 war chest in March. I'm going against Claire Valdez, the DSA. And what made me run in this was when I interviewed Claire Valdez. I was part of a group called Churches United for Fair Housing. It's Reynoso's lapdogs, right? It's his street team. And when I interviewed Claire Valdez, I asked her a couple questions. I asked her, where are you from? She said she was from Texas. And I asked her, how long have you lived here? 10 years. And what the DSA is doing is identity politics. They're putting black and brown people into our communities. And because we vote blue, no matter who, we are voting in politicians, gentrifiers, with gentrified policies. And these progressive policies are really regressive. Because what they do with their education and their smart words, they write these beautiful drafts and bills, and they sound so nice. And how could you say no to universal child care, right? How could you say no to the city of yes, more housing, They're not, when you hide the facts, when you're not transparent, that's a form of lying. The city of Yes was the only thing that Mandani kept from Adams' administration. And let's talk about why. Because it benefits the developers. Their slogan is, you will have nothing and you will be happy. So that's why your prices is going up, because they want you to be homeless. I am the only candidate here that is pro-housing. As an activist, I wrote down the list because I didn't want to forget, but I work with groups on the ground like Mi Casa No Su Casa, Safe Section 9, the East New York Community Land Trust, FOBK, where we protested against the fracking gas pipe in northern Brooklyn, all the way from Brownsville to Greenpoint, right? Thank you. BHIP, Bushwick Housing Independence Project, Sane Energy Project, Ridgewood Tenants Association, BED, Best Side Fiction Defense, Crown Heights TA, and I also worked on legislation. So I'm running not because I have an opinion, I'm running because I have experience. I organized 11 buildings in my neighborhood after our landlord railroaded us into foreclosure, purposely. And the city of New York, through the third-party transfer, said, hey, you did such a good job running these buildings into the ground, how would you like to own them? Right? And that's when I stood up and started organizing. And I helped to create laws in East New York, Cypress Hills, even though I didn't live there. Why? Because that was my neighbors. And what happens there is important to me. So I was protecting people like Isaiah, and I didn't even know Isaiah. Right? We created cease and desist zones in East New York, Cypress Hills to protect minority homeowners from speculators that were purchasing their homes at $300,000, harassing them. And then after $20,000 to $40,000 in cosmetic repairs, would flip them. And what that did was created huge disparities where we couldn't afford, and we were being priced out of our own neighborhoods. I also helped Senator Julia Salazar. I was one of many who helped to create the Good Cause Eviction Bill, right? And right now, I'm currently working on an anti-flip tax legislation aimed to deter toxic flipping and preserve homeownership affordability. This is what I bring to the table as a true community activist, as an organizer, right? I want to talk about right to counsel and the Universal, Universal Counsel Act. But right now, Housing Court, as it stands, it does not serve tenants. Housing Court is basically a debt collecting machine. That's what it is. Wow. Yeah, it's a debt collecting machine. But I got into this race, and I think I skipped that, was when I interviewed Claire Valdez. And when she told me that she wasn't from here, she was only here for 10 years, and she's with the DSA and identity politics, getting all this PAC money, and then has the nerve to call themselves grassroots. That's not grassroots. Any DSA member is not grassroots. And that's the truth. The DSA is a party of oppression, and they're led by Sia Weaver. She's the ringleader there, and she selects who runs. Okay? That's why I'm running. I'm running to call out everybody and their mother who doesn't deserve to be there, and I'm calling out by name. For real. So I'm the only candidate talking about TOPA. Tenants Opportunity to Purchase Act, right? Use that and walk it back to build strong communities. Some of my pillars are strong families, strong communities, but those aren't just taglines. It's my vision. And I'm going to tell you how we create strong families. We create strong families by getting them off of welfare, public assistance, right? HRA had an apprenticeship program where we were able to not only incentivize businesses to come back to New York, right? But also they had to have apprentices. And with a high school diploma and GED, as a CNC machinist in 2015, when we ran this program, you could earn up to $100,000. Those are sustainable salaries. Those are salaries that get people off of public assistance, right? So that's how I intend to build strong families. Now, how do I intend to build strong communities? Through equity, through TOPA. When we have owners and stakeholders right? In our communities that own, you have a sense of pride. You want to know what's going on in your community. You want to know where your tax dollars are going. You're reporting crime, right? You're involved. And that's what we need in New York City. We need more ownership. So they have us bamboozled, fighting to stop the rents. Every year we're fighting. Freeze the rents, freeze the rents. No, we need to be owners. We need to wake up. I've been a Democrat all my life, and I just flipped Republican. And I was voting Republican for a while, right? Even as a Democrat, because I wanted to get people out the primaries, but what I seen was these people weren't being challenged. So it was a waste of time. You know, I have no ambition to be a congressman. I have no ambition to be a politician, but I'm standing up for my neighborhood. You know, because this is the neighborhood I love, and I'll be damned if they price this out. So, I mean, I don't know where to leave it with this, but I mean, that's where I'm running. I'm running on all my policies are up, they're transparent. I'm against the machine. I'm calling them out directly. My name is Melvin Rivera. My website is melvinforcongress.com. I'm running for District 7. That's against Antonio Reynoso, right? I think I mentioned that, Claire Valdez. And yeah, this is me. Plain and simple. And I'm open the floor for questions.
Yes, Melvin, go ahead. Sammy?
Yeah, thank you, Melvin, for taking that step and running. I appreciate that. I got one question. What's your opinion on what's happening on the deal that just happened in Iran? And any prominent endorsements that you've gotten?
Well, let's talk about the endorsements, right? The prominent endorsements. The Dominican-American Club endorsed me. Thank you, Sammy. The Brooklyn GOP, and also the Brooklyn Conservative Party, right? So, and on the new deal with Iran, I think that's history. We're seeing history in the making. Everybody's talking all this about Trump, right? All this junk. I want to know, where was that energy when we had a Godiva for president and we were playing Weekend at Bernie's for 4 years? Where was that energy? Okay, that's what I want to know. The hypocrisy stops here, and I've been calling it out for a long time. These people know who the fuck I am. I'm not a typical politician, because I'm not. I'm just like you. I'm a working guy. I overcame homelessness. Okay, I'm a homeowner. And now they want to take it away over my dead body. Right? So I'm running and I'm sacrificing everything. I'm the only person, okay, that's giving up everything. You know why? Because God giveth, God taketh. Amen. And these are just material things.
Yeah, hi, how are you? It's my understanding that you want people to own rather than rent. You think it's better?
Absolutely.
However, the people that I'm talking to feel it's cheaper to rent than to own today because of the interest rates and the high cost of real estate.
And that's fine. You have millionaires that don't own. You have millionaires that rent because they don't want the responsibility. And not everybody has to be an owner. We can have buildings that are mixed use with owners and renters, right? But we have to give people that option, right? Because that's how you stay in your community. We've been disfranchised. We've been moved out. And honestly, what I see, and if you guys haven't seen it, is that the Democrats have been hurting us like cattle, pushing us into states, other red states, hoping to flip them blue. That's what they've been doing. From California to New York, in New York City, the inward flux, and it's supply and demand. When the supply is low and the demand is high, we're seeing prices rise all over the United States, and that's because of DSA socialist policies. Universal is a one-size-fits-all, and that's the laziest thing you could do. Because me and Jacob, we're from the same neighborhood. We grew up, we have same experiences, we face same adversities, but our needs are not the same. So you can't group us in a one-size-fits-all category, and I won't allow it, because that's the laziest shit you could do in government.
I have 3 questions. The first is, Congress controls the power to coin, therefore it controls the power to set interest rates. I know the Federal Reserve does interest rates, but technically the power is the Congress. Would you lower interest rates? Would you bring down to less than 4%, 0%? Second question, what is your position on marijuana? Marijuana is illegal under federal law. Would you change that? Would you support that? And my third question is, do you support universal health care?
Okay.
Sorry for so many questions.
No worries. Could you repeat the first question?
Interest rates, would you lower
Interest rates. So, of course, we got to lower interest rates, but let's look at what our red states are doing, our neighbors, right? What was it? Income tax. They had a 14% income tax in North Carolina. They voted to push it down to 7%, and they're currently voting to put it down to 3.5%. You know who voted for that? Republicans. You know who did it? Democrats. Okay? I would like to abolish the IRS. That's my focus. People want to abolish ICE. Reynoso ran on, I got ICE out of Rikers. That's the one place we really want ICE, it's in Rikers. And he's running, I got him out of Rikers, and he put him on the streets. Right? Idiots. These are idiots. So the second question was,
would you keep marijuana legal? It's illegal under both substances.
I wouldn't keep it legal. I'm gonna keep it real. I hustled back in the day. I ran spots. Okay? And the truth is, when you legalize it, this is the shit show we have. New York City doesn't know how to govern itself. That's number one. So when they want to get into groceries and all that, and the OME, Office of Marijuana Management, whatever, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't. The dispensaries are failing in California. They're failing in New York City. They're failing because they don't know what they're doing. It takes so long to process it when they test it before the shots get it. It's like 6 months, 8 months, and then the bud is dry. Now marijuana is a medical
Yahemia is not approved as medicine as yet.
But that's because that's all politics. That's all politics. And some places they banned it, but they want to promote alcohol. So I wouldn't. I'm not for legalizing marijuana because of the shit show that you see now. But what I am for is for decriminalizing it and taking it off the federal map, right?
What about universal health care?
Universal health care, I don't agree with that. I'm a working person, and as a working person, I shouldn't have the same type of welfare that my taxes go to pay a non-working person.
Thank you.
Anything universal, I'm not for. And they roll it in with these policies, and they make it so innocent. They start off with universal pre-K, because if you say no to that, you're a monster, right? And then they roll out universal housing, and what does that look like? It looks like NYCHA, because NYCHA is the standard for public housing in the world. That's the standard, okay? And we all know that NYCHA is a shit show too. So universal basic income, that's communism. If I'm a doctor, I'm gonna get paid the same as a janitor. I'm not for any universal policy, period.
Thank you very much. Melvin Rivera is running for Congress in 2nd District.
Yeah, please, before you leave, my friend is collecting information. Please write down the information, your contact information, so we can stay in contact. And look at the website, melvinforcongress.com. If you guys could donate anything, I appreciate it. $5, $10, appreciate y'all.
And we have one more last speaker there, Yahemia Harris. Okay, she's running in Kings County State Assembly District 55. She was on the Republican line, and yet they challenged her, knocked her off the Republican line. She's running on no Kings line, and yet they are taking her to, they did not challenge her, but they're taking her to court to knock her off.
That's a good friend. Hello. Hi, my name is Yahemia Harris. I'm running for the 55th District Assemblywoman. That's a lot. So from what he said, as you know, I tried to get on the ballot. They challenged me. They're not making it easy. But I like that because what it's doing for me, because this is my first time running, it's showing me that I'm a threat. They're a little scared. So it's motivating me to keep going. I'm gonna keep it short because last time I came, it was my first time speaking. I was a little nervous, so this time I came a little nervous. Basically, I'm not running to fight all the political battles. That's not my goal. I have things in mind that I like to challenge, but I'm here to advocate for my district. Last time I spoke, I was trying to speak the perfect language. I just had to find the right words to be a politician. And then I sat back and going through the challenges and realizing the best thing for me to do, which I encouragement, was to be myself. So today I'm standing in front of you as an advocate for my community. I'm here to fight for safer communities, better opportunity for the youth, stronger support for mothers. I say I'm not here to fight against policy, but I'm here to let people know what the Democrats is, their agenda. Their agenda when it comes to mothers. While we were celebrating the Knicks, and we was outside coming together, finally won the championship. The Democrats slipped through a little change to include everybody, and I'm all for including everybody. But including everybody should not mean removing the main character. For me, as a woman and a mother, is more than just a title. So, and as I'm celebrating the Knicks, like, yes, I'm fine. I'm not a sport. I'm not into sports. But I'm celebrating, and I wake up in the morning, I'm like, hold on. This don't even make no sense. I have twins. I wasn't labor, I had a high-risk pregnancy. I had a C-section, almost needed a blood transfusion. All for becoming a mother. So something like that, to just be gender neutrified for everybody could just feel comfortable. But what about me? What about woman? The title. Woman is more than just a title. It's more than being a woman. Every woman knows, and I don't have to get into details, it's more to being a woman than just a title. So those things made me aware and made me like, oh, it's time for me to step up and let my voice be known. Because obviously they challenging me, so I am a problem. And my voice do make a difference. Because when I announced that I was running, people who never even cared about politics said, I'll vote for you. I will support you. So, with that being said, mental health is the main thing. I'm from Brownsville. Children is getting killed. Every day, as soon as we walk out the door, we worried about if we're gonna live or die. So I heard you ask the question multiple times. I'm pretty sure you're gonna ask me the same thing. I'm not for banning tobacco. I'm not for it. I'm not for that because you gotta deal with the core issue. Addiction comes from something. And most people that have addictions is because they have mental health issues. So what I would advocate for, me personally, before I try to ban things, when you start banning this stuff, for my community, where I'm from, Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, Ocean Hill, East New York, banning mean more jail time for me. So I get it that it shouldn't be advertised to youth. It shouldn't be a main topic, and it do cause issues. But in order for we could fix the issue, we have to deal with the core problem what we all go through, mental health issues. So I feel like we should advocate for banning things. Let's advocate for adding things. Let's add more mental health clinics in the community. Let it be more accessible. People want help, but we don't know where to get it from. I called the hotline before. I did. That 988 number, for depression and mental health, you know what you get? Somebody who barely cares. One-time conversation, never no more follow-up. So that's the issue. It's not the addictions. It's not the drugs. It's the mental health. The fact that you want to escape your reality. That's the issue. The fact you want to escape and go somewhere else. So we deal with the facts. The fact is people need someone to talk to. People who really care. That's why my campaign is called Yahemia Village. Because it takes a village to restore hope. And that's the problem. Nobody believes in politics. Nobody want to be a politician. nobody believes that either the red or blue really care for my community. So that's what we gotta show them. We care. I'm not here to judge you. We all different. But we all have to live here in America and deal with these policies and these changes. So we're gonna have different opinions. And I'm not saying you're wrong for wanting that, because I get it. Addiction is not something. I had family members who was addicted to different things, crack, alcoholics. I see the trauma that, I see the trauma that comes with it and how it can break your body down. I get it, but I also understand why. And that's what we gotta understand is the why. And fix the core issue. And like I said, my main thing is mental health. The youth need help. They crying out. There's programs there, but it's not enough. It's not enough it's not enough activities. It's not enough people that really showing that, okay, I'm not here to judge you, I'm here to help you. I mean, everybody's gonna be tough on crime. How tough could we get? It's time to show love. That's what we need. We need more love. We need more community. We need more people saying, oh, you can do it. Yeah, you was that before, but if you have the right people, the right circle around you that believe in you, then you can do whatever it is that you want. Because I could do all things through God, through Christ, who strengthens me. And that's what we have to do. And we have to, when it comes to people who's on, now, doing drugs and things like that, we have to show them, because a lot of times, like I say, they escape it. It's something that they trying to escape. Why you want to escape that? And that's why, another reason why I'm so big on just advocating on like the gender neutral thing. I get it. I understand. Everybody want to be included. Don't X us out. Don't make it seem like being a woman is just a name, just a title, and just because you feel like that. And then let's stay focused on facts. Like, the fact is, it's only 2 genders. If that's a fact, that's a fact. Regardless of, I get it, when you get older, you want to change, because in my mind, I'm a rich billionaire, and I'm going to, in my mind, see that. But in reality, I have bills, and I can work towards that. So you can work towards it, but I still know at the end of the day, I am a woman. And I have things I have to do as a female, emotions and things I have to feel as a woman. And I shouldn't have to fight for that. They talk about the Jim Crow laws, but what about the woman rights? How hard we have to fight just to be seen and be able to work and do certain things, and slowly y'all taking that away from us. And they're making it seem like, oh, it's just because we want to include everybody. And I'm not against, like I said, I'm not against the transgender. I'm not against to be yourself. Love yourself. I advocate for that. But I feel like it should be an age limit. Like you said before, as a kid growing up in a Christian home, it's just certain things you just don't do. Even as a straight couple, you just don't do in front of children. Certain topics shouldn't be discussed in front of kids. So why are y'all putting this in school? What we should teach is respect. Respect people for who they are. Love yourself. Love yourself and whoever you decide to be. When you turn 18, you can be whatever you want. But you're going to know, when I was born, this is who our God created me to be. And this is who I'm going to die as. When they take the mask off, this is my reality. I don't want to live in an illusion. I want to live in real reality. It's cool to escape, it's cool to watch games, have fun, laugh, joke, but at the end of the day, we gotta speak about that. But my name is Yahemia Harris. I know that I have questions, and I'm open to
Okay, thank you very much, Mia. The Southeast New York. Unfortunately, we're getting late there. You're welcome to questions afterwards. I'm going to announce some of the winners of the 50-50 tickets. We're going to turn the meeting. These 3 people, please go to the desk and indicate if you like. John Feldman, Erica Mazuski, and also Richard. Any one item on the table. And the winner of the 50-50 from the ticket that was drawn by Sammy is John Feldman. And do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, Richard, and a second by Isaiah. All in favor says aye. Okay. And the meeting is adjourned. It's now 9:42. Thank you very much for coming.